Nailed it.
Did it happen?
Yeah, and if you do those a few times, you get your reps in.
Oh, now
Yeah,
we're talking.
yeah,
Now we're talking. I love reps. I don't know if you know this, but I've been waiting all week to say this to you. I had a guest on once that told me there's bugs in the human body. Is that what we're talking about here?
That's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah.
Oh no! It's gonna be that again. Explain cancer to me like I'm 8 to 14 years old, my key viewership demographic. If someone has cancer, what's the best way Brick can support them? Tell me a little bit about what it's like right now. Are we getting closer to better treatments or even a cure for some certain forms? Like, what's going on now that you see?
Brick Headstrong! Brick Headstrong! He's got the reps to you! He's got the reps to you! Brick Headstrong!
I don't know if you know this, but I've been waiting all week to say this to you. What's up, Doc? Welcome to Reppin Fitness.
Thanks for having me, Dr. Brick. Can I call you Dr. Brick?
No. You
When
can call
are
me
you
Coach
gonna get
Brick.
your PhD?
Call me Coach.
Okay, Coach. How's it going, Brick?
It's going great. I was just at the gym. I was doing lower body day.
Okay.
Have you been to the gym today?
I actually haven't. I've been getting over being sick.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling a little bit better now, yeah. So I'll probably go to the gym tomorrow and get that immune system back, you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
Any idea what you're going to do?
Yeah, actually, I think it's about time to do some legs. You know, legs and back.
You know, I did lower body day today, right?
Yeah, what'd you do?
I did legs earlier this week. I don't understand the difference.
Me neither, to be honest.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page with that.
Yeah.
But do you remember the first time you started working out? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I started working out, I was pretty young. I think high school is when I started working out pretty, quote unquote, religiously. But yeah, I mean, I've been also in some pretty physically demanding jobs. I was in landscaping for a while. Had a moving business with my stepdad when I was younger. But yeah, I've been pretty active and exercising since I was maybe like 12, 13.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
a journey.
Now, this is Reppin Fitness, so we got to talk about reps, all right?
Absolutely.
When you're at the gym, what rep ranges do you like to be in?
Yeah, it's a good question. For me personally, I like to meet between 12 and 15 reps on most exercises.
Well, that's nice. I like that.
No, it works well for me, especially with lower mass, so lower weight amounts and higher reps. But obviously, if I'm trying to lift heavier, I try and do slower reps and make the movement more consistent and methodical. Anywhere between the 4 to 8 rep range.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's all about form. You know, people they overdo it at the gym. They hurt themselves just because they want to show off.
Yeah.
They want to show people that they can lift a lot.
Yeah, ego's a problem.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, Dr. Joe, I was looking at your Instagram and I saw a bunch of your videos. They had cats in them.
Yeah.
You got cats. Hermes.
Yeah,
Is that how you say it?
Hermes is one of my cats. Yeah.
How many cats you got?
I've got 2, but we might have a third, which we recently trapped from outside. Yeah. We don't feel comfortable releasing him because he's missing an eye, so we'll keep the other one, I think. But I've got 2 cats, they're brothers, Hermes and Apollo.
Hermes and Apollo. Shout out to Hermes and Apollo.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Great to meet them.
Yeah. But, well, they'll probably show up in the video at some point or other. They might jump on my lap, so we'll see.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. I'd love to see them.
Yeah, they usually make a cameo.
We'll get our viewership up.
Yeah, I can drag them in towards the end of the video.
Nice. But speaking of, I got to tell you, I was on your Instagram profile, and I saw something you do in videos where you swipe You swipe things across, and then you
Yeah.
use that as a transition.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm gonna steal it.
Go
I
for
hope
it.
you're all right with it.
Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with that. It's an
All
honor
right, great.
for somebody like Coach Brick to take my materials and use them as his own.
You hear that? We don't have to worry about him suing me now.
No,
Okay.
I'm not even in business, so you're good. It's not
Oh,
trademark or
perfect.
anything. You take it.
Perfect.
Just
Perfect.
wipe it along, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you
Well,
do
hey.
it? You want to try it out?
Whoa, let me try.
Nailed it.
Did it happen?
Yeah, and if you do those a few times, you get your reps in.
Oh, now
Yeah.
we're talking. Now we're talking. I love reps.
Yeah,
But
I know you
hey.
do. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Now, this is normally Reppin Fitness, but you're a cancer biologist. So
Mhm.
we're gonna do Reppin Science for a little bit.
Okay.
What made you want to study science? Were you always into it as a kid?
Yeah. Yeah, so ever since I was young, I was always into some sort of biology. First, my favorite love, or my initial love, was marine biology.
Oh,
And that I pursued that path for a long time, all the way up until undergrad, from, when I was like, again, 10 to 12, up until,
okay.
about 17, 18 years old. And I
Wow.
initially got into undergraduate research in a marine biology focused program. But things basically didn't work out. I was doing the military track at the same time. I had an ROTC scholarship that kind of fell through. And so then I had to transition to a different school, and they didn't have a marine biology track. And that's when I kind of got into just basic biology. So that's what my bachelor's degree is in biology.
Where did you get that?
Yeah, so I got my bachelor's in science in biology at St. Leo University in St. Leo, Florida, just outside of Tampa. It's a private
Okay,
school.
cool.
And that's where I was first introduced to cancer research. But early, so my mom, when I was 17, she got diagnosed with esophageal cancer. And
Oh,
when I was about 14, she got diagnosed. And when I was 17, she passed away from
oh,
esophageal cancer. And so there's always been this like underlying need and ambition towards doing cancer research that when I went to St. Leo was kind of strengthened. And I had a lot of good experiences because Moffitt Cancer Research Center was nearby. And I was actually able to get in there and start conducting research in cancer.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm
So
sorry to
I've
hear about
always
your
been,
mom.
oh no, it's okay. I mean, it's one thing that's, you take bad situations and stressful and sad situations and you try and turn them into something positive. And that's, taken a lot of effort, and that's kind of what I've done with my career. And that's why I became a cancer biologist. So that way I don't have to feel hopeless and helpless like I once was. I've acquired a certain amount of knowledge about cancer, and now I can help people understand the disease better. And if they do happen to get the disease, they can understand how they're going to treat it effectively and work with their clinical team to do so.
I love that. We're
Yeah,
going to get into a couple of those questions because I want to
absolutely.
help people at home
Hmm.
understand cancer a little bit more. But before we get there, you study cells. So,
Yeah.
what's something really cool about the human body that most people don't know?
Most people don't know. Well, one thing that I was thinking about that I think a lot of people don't realize, and if they do, they don't realize just how crazy it is that we are covered both inside and out in bacteria, fungi, and viruses all competing for space on our bodies. And that actually helps to keep us healthy. And sometimes
It
disease
does?
happens. Yeah, absolutely. So like the way that we digest food, we need bacteria to help us digest food and make certain nutrients to keep us healthy. In the same way that bacteria and fungi can help protect our skin from foreign um, materials like viruses to keep things in balance. So it helps like having microbes associated with our skin and our intestinal gut area helps us to protect ourselves from infection.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had a guest on once that told me there's bugs in the human body. Is that what we're talking about here?
That's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna be
mean,
that again.
not
Oh,
parasites per se. Like, so the thing is, like, bugs is an arbitrary term, or a very simplistic term that could be used to describe, bacteria, fungi, protists, and even parasites, and viruses. But, in general, we don't, if we're healthy people, we don't have parasitic infections.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, you've studied the body on a microscopic level, right?
Mhm.
How does exercise actually change our bodies at a smaller scale? Any ideas there?
Yeah. So, one thing that I tell people often is that exercise promotes our immune system to function well enough.
Right.
So,
I like that.
you know how our heart has it's tightly linked to our blood vessels, and our heart pumping moves blood through the vessels, to, push oxygen to areas in the body to give it life, to sustain life, basically. But
Right.
our immune system has its own fluid system called the lymphatic system.
The
And
lymphatic system.
the lymphatic system, that's right. And that's the fluid within the lymphatic system moves because of how muscle contracts. So
Okay.
if you think about it like this, exercise, skeletal muscle contractions through exercise can help to promote lymphatic fluid movement. And that will enable immune cells to move throughout the body to deal with, infections better. So, we just spoke about microbes, bacteria, fungi, viruses,
Right.
protists, viruses, all those sorts of things, parasites. It'll help deal with those infections better, but also help to deal with the aspect of our immune system to deal with damage. So when you work out, you're also promoting tissue damage, and you need immune cells to help promote that repair. So it's this double-edged sword of, repairing damage and also fighting off infection is one of the many ways that exercise can help
Interesting.
keep us healthy.
Now, how often do you think people need to be working out and taking care of themselves?
How often?
Yeah, like weekly.
Yeah. I think it's going to be relative, and the types of exercises that people need to do are going to be relative to their ability.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also consistency is super important too. So,
Agreed.
you can read exercise, you can read peer-reviewed articles that show that resistance training is the most optimal thing that you can do for your overall longevity. But if at the end of the day, somebody doesn't like going into the gym and they're having trouble being consistent going into the gym and doing resistance training, then they need to find something that they can at least do consistently. And even if they go to the gym like once a week, they can go do cardio for a few more days for the rest of the week, or yoga or something just to maintain some level of consistency of movement throughout the week. So that could be anywhere from, I would say, to be in a healthy range, 2 to 3 times a week of exercise, 2 at the minimum. But there are research articles that show that at a minimum, all you really need to be quote unquote healthy is about, 20 minutes exercise a day.
Interesting. 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Now, one thing that I think people forget is that walking, promotes health too. So steps are
Absolutely.
reps. Sometimes
Steps
you don't
are.
get the reps at the gyms,
Yeah. So go for a walk. If it's a beautiful day out, go for a walk, or, go on the treadmill, listen to some music or something.
Where do you live?
I live in Durham, North Carolina right now.
Oh, what's the temperature like there now?
Currently, it's quite nice. It's about 64 degrees outside right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. How
Well,
about
I'm
you?
at the gym in Pennsylvania, and
Okay.
actually today's pretty nice. It's like
Nice.
50 degrees.
I lived in Philadelphia before I moved here.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Okay. What town, if you don't mind me asking?
It's Pittston, which is near Wilkes-Barre and Scranton.
Nice. I've actually never been to
But-
that town.
Yeah, people know us for The Office television show,
Yeah.
but soon enough, they're gonna know us for Brick Headstrong and my gym.
I'm
Hopefully.
surprised that they don't already.
right? I'm pretty low key here. I keep it on the down low. I don't really tell too many people around here. You know,
You're
I don't
famous
want.
too, Brick.
Yeah, I don't want people showing up at my house or my gym. I'm
Yeah,
trying
I
to get
get it.
my lift on. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want people distracting your clients from a good lift too, you know?
Absolutely. You know. Yeah. Absolutely. I just want to get in the gym, get those reps,
Yep,
and help people out. But
absolutely.
so I got connected with you through Andrew Coates. Right.
Uh-huh.
He told me, he's like, you got to have Dr. Joe on.
Yeah,
He's gonna be
Andrew's
a
a
big
good
one.
guy. Yeah.
He's a great guy. Yeah. And just to clear the air, because sometimes people are confused, I am not Andrew Coates. Okay. I'm Brick Headstrong. We're totally different people.
You
Okay.
can see the resemblance though. You have to be
I
honest.
understand. Yeah. We're both jacked. We're
Yeah, you're
both jacked.
both very attractive, you know?
Whoa. Well, we'll talk off air. We'll talk off air about that.
Yeah,
But
well, yeah.
you're a cancer biologist, so we got to talk about cancer a little bit.
Yep.
Explain cancer to me like I'm 8 to 14 years old, my key viewership demographic.
Okay.
What's actually happened to the body when someone has cancer?
Yeah. So cancer is when we have our cells, they get kind of messed up and they don't do what normal cells do anymore.
Okay.
And normal cells have all these things that keep them normal, that keep them safe. But cancer happens when some of these normal things get messed up and the cells keep dividing. And so cancer is basically known as a disease of continuous cell growth. But that can only happen when a lot of the safeguards and checkpoints that keep normal cells normal get messed up. That's when it becomes cancer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but how does that happen? Is there something that happens to the body? Like, why do they start acting different while others act the same?
Yeah. Well, that's a really good question, and it's honestly it's not a simple one. There's
Oh,
a variety of different ways. There's some genetic ways, for one, that can cause cancers. Some people have mutations which they inherit from their parents,
oh,
um,
okay.
and those mutations can make someone more likely to develop specific types of cancers. Now, those mutations aren't generally that common, but they can significantly increase a person's cancer risk. So the way that those mutations work are typically associated with um, issues with the things that promote DNA production and repair inside of cells. So as cells divide, they need to continuously make copies of DNA, kind of like a copying machine.
Okay.
And if the machinery that makes those copies is messed up, they won't make good copies of DNA. And
Interesting.
making bad copies of DNA can cause problems, and that's what can lead to cancer at a genetic level. But then there are other perspectives where there are things in our environment which are the most predominant, which account for about 90% of cancers, actually.
Like what?
You know, like cigarette smoke exposure, or
Oh, yeah. Don't
um,
smoke cigarettes.
yeah, or at least minimize exposure as much as possible. Same with alcohol consumption. Um, Radon exposure is the number one cause of lung cancer, or at least the primary cause of lung cancer.
How would I get exposed to that?
Radon?
Yeah.
Yeah, so radon is a decay. It's a radioactive decay from uranium that's present in the Earth's crust. And
Whoa.
so I don't know if you've heard of this, but sometimes, like whenever someone buys a house anywhere, they need to have radon testing in their house because basically, if in basements, radon, because it will decay from the Earth's crust into a basement and it will saturate there, it will sit there. Um, you can clear out radon from a basement if it builds up over time, but you need to get, before you can live in a house, you should get your house tested for radon because it will be inhaled and it can build up in your lungs and cause some pretty bad radiation damage that can eventually induce lung cancer.
Wow, that sounds bad.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah. So
gotta
that's
check your
why
house out.
people should. Yeah, exactly. So if people are buying a house or any property for that matter, it should always be radon tested before moving in.
So let me see if I got this right. If my mom or my dad
Hmm.
is like 6 feet tall, as an example,
Sure.
and I'm born, it's most likely I'll probably be about that height, right?
Give or take, yeah.
Is that what we're talking about when you're saying that genetics play a part? Is that if one of my parents or maybe my grandparents had some form of cancer, it might get passed on into my genes?
It depends on the type of mutation. So
Okay.
there are some. So cancer is one of those diseases that the transferability of genetic mutations from your parents to your children doesn't guarantee that somebody's going to get cancer. So this is called
Right.
penetrance. And so, for example, if somebody has this syndrome called Lynch syndrome, they inherit a mutation in a specific enzyme involved with DNA repair. Just I won't mention which one because it doesn't really matter here.
Okay.
But it's involved with DNA repair, and it will increase. It's messed up, and it will increase the risks of developing colon cancer by about 50 to 60%, and it might get greater as they get older. Um, and so, if somebody knows that they have something like Lynch syndrome, it's very important that they consume a pretty high fiber diet and a low glycemic index diet to help control the levels of um, digestive balance in our intestines. So that way it
Oh.
reduces the likelihood of colon tumors from forming. Does that make sense?
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay,
Now,
great.
how do you test for cancer? How are doctors knowing, how you have it?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. There's a variety of different ways. There's a number of different types of imaging methods. Ranging from MRIs to um, some radioactive methods like single positron emission uh, topography or SPECT CT, or PET scans, which you might have heard of. So basically, you can inject radioactive isotopes or contrast inside a body, whether it's an MRI or a radioactive imaging type, and you can track that material throughout the body to see if there's like an abnormal mass in an area of a body through really complex imagery.
Oh.
Um, but for cancers, it varies, right? So like one of the most predominant ways to detect breast cancer is a mammogram.
Okay.
So that's basically takes place where breast tissue is placed in like a caliper, and the tissue is squished to feel for an image to feel um, for tumor tissue, for potential tumor tissue or polyps in the tumor or in the breast tissue. And so that's one particular way for breast cancer. But for a lot of cancers, the detection methods are not quite there yet. It's getting a lot better, especially in the targeted radio imaging space. So you
Oh.
can basically make radioactive materials that are linked to things that will directly find cancer cells. And if you inject that in somebody that you think has cancer, that thing will bind to a tumor. And because there's a radioactive thing bound to it, it will emit signals to an imager, which can capture where exactly that tumor is.
Interesting.
So that's called
Wow.
targeted radio imaging.
Target radio imagery. Is that correct?
Yes, basically, yeah.
Wow. So you're talking about cancer research.
Hmm.
Tell me a little bit about what it's like right now. Are we getting closer to better treatments or even a cure for some certain forms? Like what's going on now that you see?
Yeah, no, this is a great one. So over the past 10 years, even the advancements in the types of treatments that we have to treat cancers have become much, much better. And so one newer type of therapy that I like to talk about is called immunotherapy. And so the
Oh.
way that immunotherapy works is you basically enable your immune system to recognize tumor cells in someone who has
Okay.
cancer and make your own immune system attack that cancer. And so there's a variety of
Oh.
different therapies and types of therapies within the immunotherapy space that can enable your own immune system to kill cancer cells. So that's immunotherapy.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then there's also radiotherapy. So you can, in the same way that you can bring immune cells to a tumor to kill it, you can also bring radioactive isotopes, kind of like a nuclear bomb. You can bring radioactive nuclear bomb basically to cancer cells directly by linking it to something that directly targets cancer cells and bring radioactive material right to a cancer cell to, as the radioactive material decays, it damages the cancer cells directly while minimizing the damage that it can occur to healthy tissue.
What about AI? AI's role in the medical field. Do you use AI at all?
I actually use AI all the time.
Wow,
Um,
cool.
yeah. So one of the ways that cancer is detected is we can use, for example, there's been a lot of research using AI to detect skin cancers, melanomas or basal cell carcinomas. So there's basically a repository of images that people have taken of their moles on their skin, as an example, and they've submitted them. And AI can filter through all of these images. And if I have a suspicious mole, I can input it into this database and I can ask AI if it compares to something that it's already seen that is a known cancer case. And AI will give you some level of confidence about how likely that mole is to be cancerous, as an example.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. But another way that I use AI in my own work is oftentimes, and this is one of the ways that we diagnose cancers too, is we'll get a biopsy. So if we know somebody has cancer, we'll go into where the cancer is,
Okay.
or a believed cancer or believed tumor. We'll go into where that mass is. We'll cut a little bit of it out, and we'll look at it by looking at, you know, what is the ability of that piece of tissue to grow? Does it grow faster than normal tissue? A control. So we use histology. That's called histology. So we can stain it for specific things to see if it has some cancer specific things that differ from normal cells. And so
Histology.
histology, that's right. And
Cool.
so when I use AI on these slides, these tissue sections, I can take pictures of them and I can input them into software to help me detect,
Oh,
where the cells are and how intense the staining is. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. It can make it a lot quicker to determine the level of a specific marker that could be increased in cancer cells versus normal cells, and may help in the prognosis of a cancer.
wow. So
Yeah.
I brought this up because so many people are afraid of AI. It's going to take their job or something else.
Yeah.
But in this case, it seems like it's helping you out.
Yeah, in most cases, in the research realm, AI has helped us out immensely. I mean, I can certainly understand in some aspects how AI can make things more tricky from like a workforce perspective, but when it
Sure.
comes
Yeah.
to doing science, there's only so much that I can achieve as a scientist with my own two hands, that AI helps to significantly increase my ability to do my job well.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
talking to Andrew Coates about this, and
Hmm.
we were talking about how if you think you're going to be able to make a program better than AI, think again. But, the one thing that AI can't do is be a human. So,
Exactly. That's
yeah.
actually one of the issues with AI is it's only as good as the information that you put into it.
Right.
So we know that if you feed false information to AI, it will spit false information out depending
Oh,
on the level of question you ask. So this
oh,
is so like there's Google Gemini as an example, and I often use Google Gemini in my own work to find research articles to help me not have to spend so much time sifting through peer-reviewed articles. It's a
oh,
good
right,
place to
right.
start often.
Yeah.
But if I don't ask my question in an unbiased way, AI will give me what I think it wants versus what I need from an unbiased perspective.
Oh,
So
I
if I
see.
don't ask the questions correctly or in an unbiased way, it can feed me information that will feed my own bias as opposed to giving me um, the correct information, the overall correct information. So we have to be careful about how we use it and be skeptical enough to ask whether or not the information that AI is giving us is indeed overall accurate.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've once asked ChatGPT if Brick looks jacked today, and I didn't like the answer because it's yes, I do look jacked today. I don't know what I was thinking.
Always, you always look jacked.
Oh, come on! You're just saying that because I'm the
I mean,
host
it's
and you're
true.
the guest.
No,
But
no, it's true. I would tell you, I don't lie to people. I'm a
oh,
scientist.
nice. That's true. Oh, well, that makes me feel better. I'm having a great day.
There you
Anyways,
go.
if someone's watching this, right, and they want to help fight cancer, what's some things you think that some younger people should study or maybe learn about?
Yeah. This is something I really stress on my page is I think everyone deserves to understand the foundations of biology. So I know that I got my bachelor's in science in biology, but I truly think that understanding biology from the framework of understanding as many living organisms as possible that I could have, and I'm continuously learning because obviously knowledge is about progression, just as like, working out is an improvement. So I think biology is a really good thing for people to understand. And within biology, that's ecology, learning about our ecosystem, about how different organisms thrive within different ecosystems, not even just humans. Microbiology, learning about bacteria, fungi, viruses, protists, parasites, learning about evolution. So I've taken evolutionary biology as well. I've taken courses in genetics as a component of biology, understanding what DNA is, what RNA is, what proteins are, and how they function differently from one another, but also how they work together in promoting a living system's ability to live, obviously. So those are, I think the foundations of biology are integral for somebody to understand cancer, because cancer is affected by all those things, because cancer at some point it develops within you, maybe.
Right.
And your cancer can be affected by bacteria, depending on where it is. Your cancer can be affected by DNA, can be affected by proteins. And if I understand what DNA is, and if I understand those proteins that are involved, I can have a better understanding of how that cancer is growing, and I can know how to better treat it.
That's a good point.
So biology is a good foundation to understand anything cancer biology related.
Yeah. And another way that people can get more information and learn is starting their own podcast like Brick.
Yeah.
And I talk to people
Yeah.
like you. You guys inspire me because if it wasn't for this podcast, I wouldn't be a NASM certified personal trainer.
Look at
Andrew
you.
told me I should go out there and learn a little bit more. And that's exactly what I did. Let me
That's
ask you
awesome.
this.
Yeah, sure.
If someone has cancer, what's the best way Brick can support them?
Yeah. I've actually made videos on this as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that people can support cancer patients the best is honestly just by listening to them. So
Listening.
in modern times, we see so much, and it's understandable because it's a pretty scary disease. Nobody wants to see their loved one with cancer, especially, personally coming from my own experiences with my mom and, even some other family members. My dad had skin cancer for a bit there and prostate cancer. My grandfather died of lung cancer. Nobody wants to see their family members get cancer. And so it's scary.
Absolutely not.
And so oftentimes when a cancer patient is scared, the first thing they'll do is go online to look for answers. And oftentimes people are so quick to give advice, no matter how accurate that advice is to cancer patients.
Yeah.
And often it's in the form of nutrition, because there's a lot of rumors about, doing special diets like ketogenic diets or low carb diets, holistic things like the alkaline diet or juice cleanses or coffee enemas, and these very interesting things, but they can be and often are extremely dangerous for cancer patients. So the best thing that people can do is just listen to what a cancer patient needs you know, and try and drive them to appointments if they need help, get them groceries, just be there, listen to them. Um, yeah, that's
So
pretty much it.
you mentioned keto, right?
Yeah,
Um, what are some simple ways people can take care of their health every day? Does exercise and eating healthy actually make a big difference?
absolutely. Yeah, and again, that's the types of exercises and the types of diets that people are going to do or consume are relative to their lifestyle. So I mentioned ketogenic diets. If
Right.
somebody is
That's when you're
overweight,
just eating meat all the time, right? Meats and fats.
yeah, but of course it depends on the types of fats. So newer research seems to point out that Mediterranean keto diets
Oh,
are going to be healthier than the traditional keto diet if somebody
okay.
chooses to do a keto diet, because those types of fats within Mediterranean foods, like salmon as an example, they're not the saturated fats that are in steaks. Now, this isn't to say that
Oh,
if all you eat is steak, you're going to be healthy, because you could be healthy, but if you consume too much red meat as an example,
right.
and it's extremely high in saturated fats, and you're not consuming other foods that are going to help you be healthy, like vegetables and fruits and those sorts of things, and you're not diversifying your meats that you consume, you're going to likely have high saturated fat intake, and that can cause some problems alongside not having enough fiber that
Okay.
might occur with not consuming vegetables and various fruits. Um, so again, exercise and diets are relative to a person's fitness goals, and if they are sick, if somebody is sick, those exercise and fitness goals are going to be very, very different than somebody who is categorically healthy. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you eat eggs?
I love eggs. Eggs are great.
Oh, you're rich. I didn't realize.
Currently,
Yeah. They're
actually,
at
you're
like
right on
market
line.
price. They're like steak right now and lobster.
That's crazy. I went to Costco recently, and they've been sold out the past two times. Costco, which is like a wholesale food supplier for those who might be listening abroad here in the
Oh,
United States, it's completely sold out of eggs in Durham, North Carolina. So
unbelievable.
yeah, it's crazy. Now eggs are like about $10 to $12 for a carton of them.
It's crazy, but I still eat them. Brick's rich too. I got that bag and it's full of eggs. That's all I get.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
think
I mean,
that maybe
great.
people will stop egging houses? Do you think that's going to be over with?
Yeah, I mean, right now it looks like the egg economy and gold are about neck and neck.
Yeah, I was
So
going to
I think
say. You might as well throw a
I think
gold bar at someone's house.
you might as well. Somebody please throw gold bars if they
Yeah.
can
Same here.
muscle up.
Same here. Throw them at me.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how heavy a gold bar is. I think it's like a bar of gold is like 30 to 50 pounds. I think. I'm not sure. I'd have to
Whoa.
fact.
I
Yeah,
didn't
it's not
realize.
like
That's going
yeah,
right through the house. But hey, Dr. Joe, do you have your own fitness goals?
I do. Of course, I do.
What's your current one? Do you have any you're working on right now?
Yeah. My current goal is to maintain consistency in the
Oh, that's
gym.
that's the key. That's what
Yeah,
people are
because
missing.
I've been super busy in and out of lab doing a lot of my own research, but also managing a lot of different projects for treatments we're trying to develop. And based on my workload, it's often, especially with what I do on social media too, it's hard to maintain some level of consistency in the gym. So
Yeah, and you're just
oftentimes,
sick, right?
yeah, I just got over being sick. It doesn't happen often,
No,
um,
no.
but it's a pain when it happens. And I try my best to maintain some level of consistency in the gym with all the things I got going on.
Yeah, so you were how long were you sick for?
Oh, 3 days.
3 days? Now,
Yeah.
you said you're gonna go tomorrow. What
hmm
made you feel like today wasn't the day, and maybe you'll just wait till tomorrow?
I'm still pretty congested,
Yeah.
so I also think that it's somewhat contagious. So I don't want to go to the
Oh,
gym and
that makes
possibly
sense.
give it to somebody else. Um, but that doesn't mean that I'm doing nothing today. So I feel well enough then I'm going to go for a walk with my wife later. So we're going to go
Nice.
just after this podcast. Actually, we're going to go to the well, we're going to drop off my car to get an oil change, and then we're going to go for a walk
Oh,
around the
nice.
area for a few hours and just hang out.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So,
Now, if you weren't
yeah.
with your wife, you'd probably be
Mhm.
listening to music, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd be listening to music either way. My wife also loves
Oh, okay.
music.
What's your favorite workout song?
Oh man, that's not easy.
I know I wouldn't be able to pick, but I'll tell you what mine is. It's
Sure, tell me
"Walk"
what your
by Pantera.
Walk by Pantera.
I
I can
figured
hear
if I
it.
would ever become a bodybuilder and have to walk on stage, I need a good entrance song, and that's the
That's a
one.
good one.
That's the one.
That's a really good one. One for me is probably Mariana's Trench by August Burns Red.
Oh, that's a good band. I like them.
Yeah, I love August Burns Red. And then maybe I don't know, any Tool song or
Oh, Brick's seen Tool live in concert before.
oh, me too. Andrew Coates and I were talking about it too. He's seen him many, many times. You should go with Andrew if you get the
Oh, that'd be
chance.
awesome.
He's
And that
super.
way, we would end this whole thing where people think we're the same person.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah, that's a good move.
Rick and Andrew go to a Tool concert. That'd be
That
really
would be
cool.
awesome. I'll have to hit him up after this. But
Yeah, I'll have to ask him too.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you're probably gonna take it a little easy tomorrow, right? While
Yeah.
you're at the gym.
Yeah.
Is there any workout recovery routines that you get into? Like after a really
Um,
hard workout?
um, what do you mean by recovery?
So I'll give you an example.
Sure.
Brick uses the foam roller all the time because it just
Okay.
makes me feel better. It loosens everything up. Do you do anything like that?
Yeah, I like to do basic forms of yoga. So I like to do a lot of
Oh,
stretching,
cool.
static stretching, dynamic stretching um, after workouts, and sometimes like nothing beats like a nice hot shower too for
Oh, no,
recovery.
absolutely not.
Yeah, or sauna. Sometimes I like to
Yeah.
sit in the sauna. It's very
Same. I do
relaxing.
that too. I forgot about
Yeah,
that. I have to hit the
yeah,
sauna after this.
sauna can be. I know a lot of people like cold baths. I've never been one for cold baths
Oh,
or cold plunges, but that can be helpful for some people depending on
I'll
their
tell you.
athletic level.
I started doing cold showers for about 2 months, and I'll tell you, it helped my anxiety a lot, especially right in the
Yeah,
morning. Putting that exposure for about 3 to 5 minutes, it definitely
yeah,
helped me out there. It just reset
yeah,
me a little bit.
yeah. There's actually research to show that cold plunges and cold showers can help to increase the amount of endorphins produced in the brain and make someone happier. So it definitely, in the same way that something like caffeine can help with someone's cognition or
Oh.
creatine can help with someone's cognition, so too can cold plunges and cold showers for
Yeah, I'll
some
tell you,
people.
I'm not doing them now. It's a little too
Yeah,
cold out now. I don't want to go
yeah,
get in a cold shower and then just go back into cold weather. I'd be freezing.
yeah. That's actually a quick way to get sick. So people need to be
Yeah.
careful.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good to know. I didn't know
yeah,
that. Huh.
yeah. You can shock yourself pretty well. And sometimes doing those sorts of things can prevent your immune system from working very well.
Oh, well, interesting. Now,
Yeah.
you're going to be at the gym tomorrow.
Hmm.
Do you have any pre-workouts that you like to use?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you using?
So I'm also affiliated with this company called Outwork Nutrition,
Okay.
and it's Lane Norton's company. He's a good friend of mine. So when they were first developing the company, he reached out to me and asked if I wanted to try some of the materials and potentially be an ambassador for the company. And
Whoa.
I tried it, and I haven't changed because the stuff is shockingly good
Really?
compared to anything else I've had. So I've tried a lot of pre workouts in my life, and some of them are just way too strong, and some of them don't really do anything for me.
Interesting.
But the ones from Outwork Nutrition are my favorite, not only because they work extremely well, they don't make me feel like super jittery, despite having a decent amount of caffeine.
Oh, okay.
But they also taste super good. And
What
so it's hard.
flavors?
Yeah, so there's a few different flavors. There's like a rocket pop one.
Whoa, that's cool.
My favorite is actually tropical candy.
Whoa. Does that taste like
And then
Skittles?
tropical candy tastes like a coconut cherry Skittle kind of. It's
Oh,
really
okay.
good. Yeah, that's how I describe it based on my palate, but it's very good. They also have like a strawberry lemonade,
Oh, I like
which is
strawberry
very good.
lemonade. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
they're
flavor.
super good flavors. They don't taste bad, and like some pre-workouts they just have a really bad taste independent of their function. So for me,
Yeah,
one of the most important things is it has to taste good at the very
I agree.
least. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Outwork is really good.
Now,
Most
do
of their
you use
products.
Outwork? Do you use Outwork for your post-workout as well?
Yeah, so they also have a post-workout recovery solution. I don't like the flavor of that one so much. But that's probably because of some of the ingredients that it has in it that might mess with the palatability, the taste on your tongue.
Yeah, right.
But in general, after workouts, I don't usually like to drink a recovery solution. I used to do it a long time ago by like drinking uh, like glucose solutions or electrolytes, and I often still drink electrolytes. But my go-to is usually just like a banana or something like that, something to replenish carbohydrates.
Oh, banana.
Also, a decent amount of electrolytes. Yeah. Um,
With like a protein shake?
yeah. Yeah. Nothing beats a protein shake, a chocolate protein shake with a banana in it, almost like a
Oh, now we're
smoothie.
talking. Now we're
Yeah.
talking. You're
Good
getting me
stuff.
hungry.
Maybe a
Now,
spoonful of
if
peanut butter in there.
peanut butter. Oh, now we're going. But
It's good
listen,
stuff.
let me do this real quick. Okay. So now we're gonna say, yeah, I just swiped that one out.
Yeah,
Let's
it's good.
say protein shakes, not an option. Not an option. What are we
Okay.
eating? What are we doing to fuel our body? What's your
After
go-to
workout,
meal? Yeah.
my go-to meal after workout. So I usually work out in the evening, so that would assume that I'm having dinner afterwards.
Oh yeah.
So my preferred dinner is a nice steak on the grill.
Oh,
Maybe like
that's the one.
a
Steak and
ribeye on the
potatoes.
steak. I'm not a huge fan of mashed potatoes. I actually like sweet potatoes more.
Sweet potatoes. Yeah, I'm into them.
Yeah. They're also great for fiber as well. So usually it's like a ribeye or T-bone steak with a sweet potato and some fresh green beans with garlic and
Oh,
a little bit of butter and some salt.
oh man.
And that's a
I
good
am
meal for me.
hungry. You got me
Maybe
hungry.
some fried Brussels sprouts too. Some
Fried
pan-fried
Brussels.
Brussels. Yeah,
Oh man. I'm
yeah.
hungry.
That's a good meal.
Yeah. I'm gonna have one of those right now. I think I'm going for a steak as soon as we're done here. So
Me too.
oh, well, you're going for a walk. You gotta go get that oil change.
Yeah. Well, maybe after that we'll go for a steak.
Yeah, that's the way. Well, listen.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a guest at Reppin Fitness. This is great to meet you.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
So you just hit me up when you're done with that walk and you want to go for a steak. I'll be available. I'm gonna just go get a couple extra reps in, and then I'll be ready to go. So
Alrighty.
but hey, this has been great. Thanks for joining me on Reppin Fitness. And for everybody watching at home, we'll see you on the next episode.
Let's get those reps.
Yeah, that's the line. That's the line.
That's the line.
Oh yeah.
You gotta
Got
swipe it
'em.
on now.